Hello, everyone. Welcome to IT Tech Talk. I'm your host, Joel Ward, and tuning in with me today is Amit. Amit is the Chief Technology Officer and Chief Information Security Officer at Movius. How are you doing today, Amit?
Very nice, Joel. Very nice to speak with you. I'm doing great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's jump right into it. I got a little bit of a bio on you. I read it up and very impressive, to be honest. And I would like my listeners to get a little background about you. So if you feel free to give a little background of what Movius is and why you got started in that space.
Absolutely. We'll be very happy to. So Movius, our core mission and core underpinning is around secure business communications. And the three key imperatives that we are here to solve for our customers are one, helping them protect their firm's data. So protecting the data is very important. Enabling better client engagement. So this is between the firm and their clients. How can they engage better? And third is making their employees productive and effective in everything that they do. And last but not the least, we are also very aware of the responsibility we have towards ESG, which is very hot right now. So yeah, these are the imperatives we are solving for our customers, Joe.
Awesome. So give me a little background. So what what made you get into Movius? Why did you join that company? What made you it says here it's the leading provider in AI powered security and mobile communications. What made you want to get into that?
Yeah, so I had the good pleasure of founding it. And I think it's really the advent of mobility. If you see, we all have a personal email and a work email. So the whole idea was, how do we separate work and personal communications, but make it very easy and comfortable without throwing more mobile endpoints and mobile devices, Joel. So that's how the genesis of Movius happened. And we wanted to offer it as a complete software-defined, software-based solution. And that was just fascinating. And at the same time, mobile devices and mobility was on the forefront. They were proliferating, and we thought it's a great space to be in. We wanted to solve problems for businesses and enterprises, and here we are.
So I want to make sure I'm looking at the right site, because I pulled up a site. It says add a business line to any smartphone. Is that your site?
That's absolutely.
So let's talk about what do you mean by add a business line? Is that adding a secondary line to the current phone you already have?
That's exactly it. And without needing a second SIM card or a second eSIM or having a separate phone or physically dividing the phone, none of that approach. It's pure software based. And essentially you are able to get a second phone line, which becomes your corporate controlled business identity. And that's what you use for all your business communications. And then your personal life remains private and safe.
See, something like that is actually a necessity in today's world, because a lot of people don't like handing out their personal number, and something like that I can definitely see being a necessity. I myself am actually looking in the process of getting something like this, just because of having the show and having people be able to communicate with me would be a great opportunity to have something like this. So let's talk about it. So it says here it's built for the hybrid workforce. What does hybrid workforce mean? And give me a little background on that.
Yeah, absolutely, Joel. So if you see, like all of us today, right? I'm working from home today. I'm talking to you. We are having a very productive conversation. Really, the world of today is I can work from anywhere. I can work on any endpoint or interface of my choice. And the world tomorrow would be that there'll be more connected devices through which you can do your work and you can communicate with each other, right? So that's what hybrid work environment is all about. And in that scenario, really the core question becomes, how do you balance great user experience with great security? And that's the crux of the problem here.
And I see an application like this having such great desired need. Like just the overall platform, I'm just seeing pictures of it. It looks very well put together. So when you said you founded the company, did you also develop this software for the phone line, or was that you and a couple of developers?
Oh, it's always a team, right?
Mhm.
So it's always a team effort. We have an incredibly strong team. And this solution, we are very proud to have. It is backed by a very strong IP. We have got 30
Mhm.
plus patents granted. So yeah, it's a team effort. And I cannot emphasize enough. And also the input from our customers. We have had the privilege of working with them, and they had a great influence in terms of how the product has evolved.
So I see this thing. It says deploy in minutes, but then it says get started with multi-line. Would you care to explain what's multi-line? Is that kind of, for me, it sounds like you have a one phone line for the boss, and then it connects. You have a system where you connect where people can call in and dial an extension. Is that correct?
So somewhat. So the whole idea is, so multiline is the name of the product, and essentially what you're getting is a second phone number, right, on your
Okay.
physical
Yeah.
device that we spoke about, and that becomes your business line. So whether you want to speak with your employees, whether you want to speak with your clients, with your
Mhm.
boss, you give out that number on your business card, as you said, not your personal number.
Yeah.
One more point, Joel, this identity kind of drives the point that the positions remain the same, but people can change. Tomorrow, you could be talking to somebody else other than me
Mhm.
at Movius in my role today, right? But that engagement should continue, right? So
Yeah.
all the contacts and continuity stay with the
So,
business.
do you have a system where you can, within Movius, like say that I have the business line, do you have things where people can dial into other extensions or you can send it to other extensions? Is that part of the system as well?
Absolutely. We have all the common business features like call forwarding,
Mhm.
simultaneous ringing, setting up business schedules, being able to record messages, record calls. We can even support text messages, WhatsApp, etc. Right? So it's a very unified experience for the employee.
Do you need to, now this is the question I'm sure my listeners want to know. Do you have to purchase a phone number to use the system, or does it already come pre-set with a phone number that you're good to go?
It's a complete subscription service. So
Okay.
when you get Movius, it comes with a phone number, and we are a multinational firm. So you get services around the world through
Mhm.
Movius. So it comes as a turnkey thing so that it's very easy. You can get up and about very quickly.
Awesome. So let's talk about your pricing plans. What does the basic package look like for a Movius plan, or and what's the higher ranking packages for a Movius plan? So what do you get with your? I'm sure you have basic packages and stuff. What do you get with your basic package?
Yeah, absolutely, Joel. And by the way, we always sell through our partners, and we have different partners around the world. In
Hmm.
US, our big partner is T-Mobile. So if you look up T-Mobile Multiline, that's powered by Movius. So to
Okay.
answer the question, in US, the basic plan, which could be, let's say, about $17 per user per month, that comes with a phone number, comes with unlimited domestic calling and texting, comes with the application, and you can essentially use this second identity, right, on your preferred device. Then you have got additional options. So we've got a plus package, which essentially gives you ability to record messages. And then we've got an enterprise package, which allows you to record both voice and text messages.
Awesome. I mean, I'm looking at it, and it just looks like a very clean system. Like you really put a lot of thought and effort into like the overall experience, the user interface. Everything looks very clean. I mean, looking at like just the pictures of it, the user interface looks very friendly. So you definitely put thought when you were building this product. And one of the things that I think is a very key thing when building a product. You want to make sure it's very user friendly. So let's talk about the IO for a second. Let's talk about the user interface, for example. Like this, you have it look almost exactly identical to a smartphone app. So it actually looks like what I would be using as a regular phone. You don't even have like it's not complicated. I mean, I'm looking at pictures and it looks very, very simple for basically anybody. I mean, a setup and go. You says it starts within minutes. I mean, it looks very simple. So let's talk about the app. What made you what did you who did you use? Like, did you use polls and stuff to get the kind of ideas of what you wanted to build, or was it kind of like a, hey, I have this phone, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is what I want to use as the interface. What was your thought process on the interface?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jolena. We appreciate your observations a lot, right? So thank you for those kind words. I think there were a couple of things that went into the design. One is, as an end user, we have to see what paradigm we were shifting, right? So
Hmm.
people are used to calling from their native phone dialer, right? So now we are asking them to use a different application as their primary phone line for business purposes. So we wanted to make sure that the experience is as close to your native experience as possible, right? So if you're an iPhone user, it looks like an iPhone interface. If you're an Android user, it looks like that, but keeping the functionality consistent across
Yep.
the two, right? So that was one design process. The other piece was it iterates, right? You build version 1, then you enhance and evolve it with version 2. You get user feedback, and the idea is, on one hand, we were getting pushed to make sure it is as secure and compliant as possible. On the other hand, our users are line of business users who want as easy to use as possible, and that's been the constant tug that we have been able to find a nice way out from. So yeah, it's an iterative design, but keeping it as close to a native experience as possible.
So let's talk about the desktop app. It says you have the on the go, in the office, anywhere. You know, we were just talking about how anywhere can be your office. Like anywhere you have a laptop, an internet connection, and a phone, you have an office. I particularly work in my car a lot. When I'm on the go, I have a little table that clips into my steering wheel. I work in the car on the go. So, you know, anywhere you have that, you have a mobile office. So let's talk about the phone line that you have on the desktop app. What made you build a desktop app on top of a mobile app? What was the process? Why did you, was it for extra functionality? So you had on the go office like in your computer as well as your phone?
Yeah, I think we wanted ease of interfaces for the user, right? So again,
Mhm.
it's important to keep users' convenience in mind. So when I'm on the go, on in the car or anywhere, you want the highest quality of experience. So that's our mobile experience, and we have got a lot of IP around that.
Mhm.
But then when you're stationary or on a laptop, or you could even be inside another application like a Salesforce CRM or a Microsoft Teams,
Yeah.
to make sure that that phone line can extend seamlessly into that experience as well, right? So the number remains the same. Interface is what the user prefers, and it's sometimes easier to work out of a desktop or a laptop when you are stationary. So that was the thought process, to give a
So
desktop experience.
I like it. I love the thought on that because it's like it gives people extra, you know, extra ways to connect. Like it's not just through your phone. You have extra because not everybody's always connecting on their phone. Like we, you know, we're talking on Zoom call right now. Some people want to have that ease of use. You know, I want to go back to the something you had said earlier about a T-Mobile. What is it? What does it mean when you're partnering with places like T-Mobile and Verizon and all that stuff? What does that mean?
Yeah, so very specifically in US, we are very tightly partnered with T-Mobile, and it means two things. One, they are our go-to-market partner. So in US, if you want to get the Movius solution, you procure using T-Mobile. So
Okay.
it's called multi-line. So that's the go-to-market relationship. But equally, because the service provides you a phone number and you need to be able to make receive calls, send receive messages, you want a tier one, very high quality network. And that's what T-Mobile brings to us. So our platform behind the scenes is integrated with the T-Mobile network. So they are also a very tight technology partner in that sense.
So T-Mobile and a couple other carriers, you use them to procure the towers for your network, correct?
Not exactly. We don't need to, and that's the beauty of the service. We don't need to procure any towers. They
Okay.
have invested in that, and in each region, we just need to partner with one provider. So in US, it's T-Mobile. In outside US, it could be somebody else, and through them, you can have any underlying phone plan. Could be from AT&T, Verizon,
Yeah.
T-Mobile, etc. The Movius solution works seamlessly and same way across the board, right? So it's a completely carrier agnostic cross carrier service that we offer.
So I have T-Mobile. Let's go into how I would use it. I have T-Mobile. I use it on a daily. I've been with Sprint that moved to T-Mobile. If I wanted to get the Movius system, all I have to do is call a technician on the customer care and ask them to add the Movius system to my phone, correct?
That's exactly it. Just ask them for, hey, can I get a multi-line service for my business? And they'll
Mhm.
say, sure, this is the plan. And the provisioning is all automated. And you can then have that service on your existing T-Mobile device, right? And that becomes, Joel, your business line from that point onwards.
That's a very seamless system. And now, are you looking to partner with anybody else besides T-Mobile, or is it strictly a T-Mobile service at this point?
Strictly T-Mobile, but we don't care. So in your example, right, like if you happen to have an AT&T or a Verizon device today, and
Hmm.
you can still get the T-Mobile multi-line on top of that, right?
Okay.
So So it works completely the same way. So
So it's
for now,
very seamless connectivity.
mm,
Awesome. So let's talk about, you were talking about Salesforce, the CRM, the Salesforce CRM. Let's talk about that. How does this connect with Salesforce? Is it connected via the platform? Is it connected via the line? How is it connected?
yeah. And before I answer that, I think it's the important question is why do you even need it inside the Salesforce, right? So one of
That
the
is a good question. Yes.
Yeah, one of the things salespeople, I can almost use the word hate, is that at the end of every week, they have to go into their CRM and they have to spend 40 minutes punching all the meetings they had during the day. It's like the quality
Mhm.
of the information is as good or as bad as the time I took as a sales rep to enter that information. Nobody likes that. So, how do we give productivity and time back to the sales rep, right?
Yes.
So, to do that, what we have done is inside the Salesforce, we actually have a published application. It's on Salesforce App
Mhm.
Exchange called the Multiline Salesforce Connector. You can get it from there, and then within the CRM interface, so you don't even need to get outside that interface. You can actually use the multiline connector and use the same number that we have been talking about and
Mhm.
being able to send and receive calls, send and receive messages from within the CRM experience. So the
Awesome.
integration, to answer your question, is one at the front end, and then the platform behind the scenes also talks to Salesforce using APIs.
That's awesome. So that basically gives people connectivity and the ability to transfer all their information so they don't have to constantly pull that from somewhere else. That's
Everything gets automatically populated and logged. Yeah.
So I want to talk about when you started the company, when you founded the company, did you ever think that you would grow into an expansive role and as big? And I mean, the website looks phenomenal. I mean, my girlfriend, she designs websites in her classes. She's going to school for graphic design and website stuff. But she would even like be like, "Wow, this is a really good website." You know, one of the things that stands out to me as a company is not just the user interface for your phone, but the website is very clean. It's easy to look at. You know, you built a platform, you built a user interface, you built everything. The website, I mean, looks very professional and well together. When you built the company, you know, when you founded it, what was your thought that it was going to grow as big as it had with multi-international clients and stuff?
I mean, that's a desire, Joel, if I can be honest. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
all
yeah.
wanted to make sure that we have a best-in-class solution. I often used to say early on, right? We would love to be the de facto solution in certain verticals, right?
Hmm.
Like in financial services being one of them. And I'm not saying it as a hindsight. I truly mean it. Like that was one of the things that I would say. And it's just good to see that kind of an adoption today that's happening, and not just in one vertical, across different verticals, but certainly very strong on financial services. But we designed the platform so it can scale for very large enterprises which are highly regulated, but equally it can also serve a lot of small medium businesses who, as you rightly say, have a need for this kind of
Hmm.
an offering, right? So we designed with that principle. Do we have the foresight and vision that this is how it would end up being? No, I mean it's a journey, right? And you experience the journey, lots of twists and turns, lots of ups and downs. But we are very proud, first and foremost, to have those customers who persevered with us, our investors who really supported us,
Hmm.
and most importantly the team who really plowed through some very difficult times as well, right? So that's how the journey has come about.
So let's talk about your location. I mean, where you are now. How many people do you employ to run this whole enterprise, this system? How many people work behind the scenes to keep this system running daily?
Yes, I'll just give some ranges, Joel, because we are still private, but like
Mhm.
it's a very small team, but we call it small but highly proficient and efficient. So it's about 140 odd people that we
Okay.
have today, and we may grow selectively, but we know it's the talent and it's the power of the team, right? And we can
Yeah.
make more out of those team members. So
Well,
yeah.
and you know, I like you touched on that. It doesn't matter how many people you have in it. You know, I asked this question to a lot of different people that have been on the show. How many people do you have in your company? I asked that mainly because I like to see the growth in companies where they say, well, we started with 4 people and now we have 100 people
Yeah.
and we're growing to 200 people. You know, I like to see the growth. And one of the things we like to talk about on the show is the growth in companies. And, you know, I see that you're growing and you're looking forward to expansion. You know, the other reason I asked that is because, you know, even with a small team, I had a couple people on the show recently who've talked about how small their team is, but they're effectively able to serve more people with a smaller team. One guy was talking about how even with a big team, you have all these people you have to communicate with, but with a smaller controlled team, you're able to still communicate, but you're able to reach more people, it feels like, because you have a more, what's the word they look, more impact, because you're able to reach people at a whole nother level because it's more personal. If you have tons of people, it's not as personal as when you have a small team where you're reaching out to and stuff. So I really think, as you grow, I mean, you'll get more people, but I think that having that number you have now is a pretty personal number.
I totally, and that's totally agree. Very well put. It's the word impact, right? That we
Mhm.
can make. And also, we should keep in mind with a partner like T-Mobile, we get a lot of scale of distribution, right?
Mhm.
They've got people who are selling on our behalf and selling the solution,
Yep.
and a much bigger scale we can draw through our partners, right? So we are very proud of that kind of a distribution model as well. Yeah, it's all about impact. It's all about collaboration. It's all about being equal amongst each other and just keeping our eyes and ear towards the customer and the
Yep.
market.
I think you just answered my last question for that was what do you look for in the future? And it seems like you're looking for to keep your ear out for what does the customer want? What do we want to grow? How are we going to grow? It's what the customer, what do they need to grow their company? What do they need to move their business forward? I think that was a phenomenal answer. And you can still answer it. What do you in the next year to 5 years, what do you look like for the company to go forward? Do you look for more partners? Do you look for more investors? Are you looking for more growth as far as like expansion of other businesses that are using your system?
Yeah, definitely, definitely growth and diversification. So we are infusing AI into all of our
Mhm.
solutions. That's very key. But again, AI is a broad term. We want to be very focused on what business value and problems we are solving. So that's an area. IoT is a big area because, again, as I said, mobility is not just going to be about mobile phones and laptops and desktops.
Yep.
There'll be a lot more connected devices, and the means to do critical communications will still remain no matter what the interface or connected endpoint is, right? So we are certainly, and we are again having some IP and patents in that area. That's a key growth vector. Vertical diversification, right? So we can serve more business types and more use cases. That's a big part of the growth. But again, at the end of the day, do right by the customers, give
Mhm.
them value so that they can grow with you, they can partner with you, and they can expand. Once you do that and do that well, I think growth would take place. That's
I
been
hundred
our
I
experience. And
100% agree.
yeah.
100% agree. I'm looking at your site. I see the PBX integration. One of the things that we were, working at in this office. I mean, it's a small office. It's in my basement. We got the office over here. We've got the printers everywhere. We got one of the things we were working on getting here was an office line, and PBX was one of the systems we were trying to work with a PBX system. You know, let's talk about that real quick before we have a few minutes left in the show. What kind of system? So does your system work with an actual phone line? Does it actually work with a desktop phone? It says you have integration with that. Talk a little bit about how the integration works and how you got that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So we work in a lot of the leading PBX systems could be from Cisco's or the Avayas of the world, right? Now, again, we talked about hybrid workforce and people being on the go. Mobilizing that landline that used to be is very important. A lot of people are mobilizing that. A lot of people are even cutting the cord. So we
Mhm.
have a very elegant integration with these key PBX systems where you can have that phone number retained, but it can be mobilized on the mobile app, right? With all
Mhm.
the value that we bring to the table, but also make it more relevant, right? For example, by adding messaging to that particular line, right? Or
Mhm.
adding other social messaging channels to that line, giving value by more AI and analysis and supervision and compliance integrations into the CRM system. So we have really brought more value if you still want to retain that existing PBX DID or
Mhm.
landline number, right? That's what our integration is.
So you're able to still use your same landline on a Ethernet connection with your system.
Yeah, and on the mobile, right? So on the mobile, you can be on the Movius multi-line application,
Mhm.
and that phone number could still be your PBX DID number.
So you
Yeah.
can go between, it's a smooth connectivity between both. So you can have that same number on the desktop phone, but also be able to retain all that information on the mobile app. That's it's one of the things, when you build a system like this, and I'm speaking to you, like, as when you build a system like this, you want something that's going to fluently work with everything. And having that PBX system, having people be able to, oh, well, I want to keep my line, but I also want the connectivity of the mobile system is perfect for a lot of people like me who are like, want to put a system in, but also want to have that connectivity like the app. So be able to take it on the go and be like, oh, someone's calling the business phone. Well, now I can connect here and at the office. So there's that. And the other thing we talked about is hybrid workforces. You being on the go, like, you could be at a coffee shop, take that business number. You could be working in your office and take that number as well. So that's the fluid connectivity we talked about is in hybrid workforces. It's wonderful because Movius has that capabilities of handling all of that situations. We have a few minutes left, it looks like. I'd like to ask you one last question, and it goes on along the lines of, back to when you started the company. When you started the company, your goal was to connect a lot of different companies, and was it just to connect companies, or was it to connect them with more extensive, what's the word I'm looking for? Applications to help grow their business? Was it just to build their businesses through like reaching more people, or was it to actually build the applications they needed to grow their business?
I think it was more to give them a secure communications framework and a secure
Mm-hmm.
communications application layer so that they can again get better in the more evolving mobile world, right? Because mobility was a very big headache, right? You have to have tens of carrier
Yeah.
relationships. You have to manage inventory. You have to manage mobile assets, right? And businesses don't want to do that. Fundamentally, they are serving a different purpose, but you need these for your employees and for your clients to
Mm-hmm.
be able to communicate with each other. So our goal was 100% software defined approach to bring that same level of quality of service that you've come to expect from a physical device, right?
Yep.
But with the power and flexibility of software so that we can enable communications in a better way. So we have stayed true to that underpinning of secure communications, but with all the ecosystem of applications and integrations, we've just made it a lot more richer and better and easier with a mobile first approach. That's very important, mobile first approach.
Awesome. Well, Amit, thank you so much for coming on the show. It has been such an honor talking to you. I've had such a great conversation. And for those listening, all the information we have will, for what we just talked about will be on the website. The links to, if you're interested in purchasing one of Amit's products for the phone, or looking in the PBX or anything, the website is on our site. The connections for all his LinkedIn or whatever profiles where you can reach him to get a hold, or his staff, you'll be able to reach it on the website. And the website, again, I push the website a lot on a lot of people, but I like seeing the views. I like seeing people reaching other clients. I like seeing people seeing the growth of people through the website. So you can reach the website at www.ittechtalkpodcast.com, and you can get so much information there. You can get Amit's information for his website, so you can check out Movius. You can get other people's information, like a previous guest. You can see the video that was shared today. You can see all the sponsorships we have. We have a growing number of sponsors who are sponsoring the show to provide more content to the listeners and to get more people on. Amit, thank you so much for coming on the show. It has been such an honor.
Joel, it's been my pleasure and very nice to meet you and speak with you and the audience.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much. It's been so great. I'm really glad and happy I get to share this with my listeners. One of the things, real quick, we have a few seconds actually left, but one of the things that when I built the show is sharing information with others. And the other thing that I like to do with this show is grow other companies. And one of the things, the reason we built the website was so that we could share information, we could share bios, we could share technology, we could share thoughts with our listeners. And one way to do that is by sharing your site, sharing your profiles, anywhere people can reach and grow and help get connected with the companies that we have on the site, so that way they can either A, purchase a product from them, or B, just uplift and give them encouragement. So that's one of the reasons why I like doing the show, is being able to reach and get a hold of people at where they are in their company, and talk to them, so that way we can grow their company with them through the power of listener base and through the power of connectivity.
Yeah, that's great. And I wish you all the best, Joel, in
Thank you
that.
so much. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.